Hi, this is your host from the channel. Woolly mammoths once roamed the earth. They were huge, hairy elephants with enormous tusks. They lived in herds, and they loved to eat. These magnificent creatures have been extinct for thousands of years. But recently, scientists have found a way to bring them back to life. Well, sort of. Let's start at the beginning. Woolly mammoths were the size of modern-day elephants. Their fur was long and shaggy to keep them warm in cold climates. They had tiny tails and small ears to reduce heat loss. And they used their tusks not just for digging up plants, but also for fighting other mammoths and attracting mates. But woolly mammoths weren't the only large mammals living on Earth. There were also giant short-faced bears, Irish elk with massive antlers, and saber-toothed cats. These animals lived during the Pleistocene epoch, which lasted from about 2.6 million to 11,700 years ago. But by the end of the epoch, all of these big beasts were dead. Humans were to blame for some of the extinctions, but there's evidence that points to climate change as the main culprit. At the beginning of the Pleistocene, most of Earth's land was covered by ice sheets. This created a problem for big mammals. As animals move around, they need to constantly eat and drink. But woolly mammoths were well adapted to the cold. They migrated to areas that were less affected by the ice sheets, and they thrived. But as the epoch wore on, the climate warmed. By 13,000 years ago, woolly mammoths were extinct. Their smaller cousins, the steppe mammoths, survived because they lived in warmer regions. For a long time, scientists thought that woolly mammoths went extinct because of the warming climate. But in 2010, researchers found that this wasn't the whole story. After analyzing the DNA of woolly mammoths, scientists discovered that the population had shrunk dramatically 20,000 years before they disappeared. And it wasn't because of the environment, it was because of us humans. We started hunting woolly mammoths as soon as we arrived on the scene. Our ancestors didn't have much technology, but we did have one thing: numbers. Humans are uniquely social. We can cooperate with each other to achieve a common goal, like, say, taking down a woolly mammoth. Researchers estimate that the hunting pressure from humans caused the woolly mammoth population to shrink by 99%. Then when the climate started to change, there weren't enough woolly mammoths left to successfully breed. That's why the population couldn't recover. So woolly mammoths went extinct because of a combination of factors, not just one. And figuring out the cause of their extinction could help us prevent other species from suffering the same fate. But the story of the woolly mammoth isn't over yet. Even though they died out 10,000 years ago, woolly mammoth remains have turned up in Siberia and Alaska. And that's led some people to ask, should we bring them back? In 2019, a group of scientists proposed a plan to resurrect the woolly mammoth. It sounds like science fiction, but their idea isn't what you think. No one is planning to clone a woolly mammoth. Instead, scientists want to use gene editing to put the woolly mammoth genome into an Asian elephant. The result would be a hybrid elephant-like animal that has some woolly mammoth traits. So far, this plan hasn't worked. Putting two elephant cells together is easy, but combining elephant and woolly mammoth DNA is really hard. But that doesn't mean that scientists will stop trying. If they succeed, they'll have to decide what to do with their creation. Should they release it into the wild? Will it be safe? Will it be happy? These are tough questions without easy answers. But woolly mammoths are already back in some ways. In 2018, a Japanese artist named Mammoth used 3D printing to recreate a woolly mammoth. His sculpture is so detailed that it even includes the tiny hairs on the mammoth's skin. And in 2020, a zoo in France unveiled a robotic woolly mammoth. Its creators hope that their mechanical mammoth will help visitors connect with nature and learn about the past. Maybe woolly mammoths are gone for good, or maybe they're just gone for now. So what should we talk about next? Please leave your ideas in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. See you next time.